What's up, everybody? This is Master Ian Gamer, and we just got a rather interesting little balance patch update for a unique game mode, which may or may not correspond with a certain day of the year, which happens to be today or tomorrow, depending on where you are. Nonetheless, we have a very interesting patch, which I would like to read through the patch notes for. So let's get into it. Overwatch 2, work in progress, very serious patch notes, draft, do not publish. Developer note. Test patch. These changes are only being applied to arcade mode for the moment because Aaron Keller claims he can convene with Pachimari and they told him to make this patch. He only plays the new arcade modes, so he shouldn't notice otherwise. Okay, let's see. Hero updates, all heroes. All heroes have new ultimate voice lines. Keep 50% of ultimate charge when swapping heroes. Veteran players have an advantage over newer ones when it comes to voice line recognition. In order to level the playing field, we've written and recorded new ultimate voice lines for every hero. Interesting. Good change there. To help players learn these new callouts, we've also increased the amount of ultimate charge retained when swapping heroes. Alright, tank roll passive, new, gain ultimate charge 10% faster. The hero that gets the final blow on a tank gains a significant amount of ultimate charge. Tank heroes are the raid bosses of teams. You should be fairly rewarded for defeating them, right? Damage roll passive. Heal 50 health on elimination. It's frustrating when you dive the backline by yourself and get no healing, especially when your team's support heroes are busy respawning. This change should help keep you alive, at least. Support roll passive, gain 30% increased movement speed for 4 seconds when reaching low health. It's tough to stay alive when flankers are about. This change should even out the odds a bit when you get ambushed. Please don't use this offensively. Let's get into the individual hero changes, because this is where things get a bit more fun, should we say. Doomfist, Seismic Slam can be empowered by Power Block, damage increase from 50 to 75 when empowered, and enemies hit by the shockwave are launched into the air. The empowered fist can also level a skyscraper, or open a glass jar in a single attempt. Diva, it turns out the beams used to destroy projectiles also really hurt when used on people. Defense Matrix, after deflecting a projectile, Defense Matrix deals 30 damage to enemies within its area of effect over 1 second. Defense Matrix killing blows grant an additional 5% ult charge. Junker Queen yells so loud she damages the eardrums of her foes. Don't worry though, it's still a friendly shout of encouragement for her allies. Applies a bleed to enemies in range when activated on the commanding shout. Oh boy, run around and shout at the enemies. Orisa, it is believed that the threat of Orisa's aerial body slam is the biggest crime deterrent in Numbani. Javelin Spin, while in the air, Javelin Spin pulls Orisa forward in her facing direction. And Fortify increases falling speed and deals damage in an area when Orisa lands on the ground. Lovely. Ramatra is a lot more effective when he's in Nemesis form, so he'll stay like that until everyone has suffered as much as he has. Omnic form disabled. Ramatra is now always in Nemesis form. Bonus armor decreased from 225 to 125. Void Barrier moved to ability 1, and Block now has a 1 second cooldown when disengaged. Just as Ramatra was always meant to be played. Reinhardt! I couldn't charge the enemies that were in the air, so I asked Torbjorn to help me out. Now I am the ultimate crushing machine even in the sky. Charge now grants flight. Hold jump to float up and crouch to go down, steering increased by 33%. I think that speaks for itself. Roadhog. In order to further align Roadhog as a tank who punishes bad positioning, we've increased the range of Hook to make all positioning bad positioning. Range increased by 50%. Sigma, gravitic energy is quite potent. If it's strong enough to lift a giant rock, it can lift anyone. Accretion, enemies hit by the impact are knocked back and experience low gravity for 4 seconds. Cooldown decreased from 10 to 8 seconds. Winston. Wrecking Ball unleashes his signature moves that made him the champion of the Scrapyard Battle Arena. Grappling Claw, maximum speed is temporarily increased when bouncing off walls, and Minefield, mines slowly move toward nearby enemies. Homing mines, just what I've always wanted. Moving on to the damage heroes, Ashe. In order to be more accurate to the fantasy, Dynamite Fire now spreads between players. Fire spreads to nearby enemies up to 4 times. That's gonna be fun. Bastion. Bastion downloaded a software update, upgrading Configuration Assault and allowing it to simulate his old Configuration Tank. Configuration Assault, while active, Tactical Grenade has a 0.5 second cooldown. Okay. Cassidy. Cassidy can dodge anything using his cat-like reflexes. It's a bit rough on his spine though. Combat Roll now costs regenerating stamina instead of having a cooldown, dodge all damage when Combat Roll is active, and ammo reload decreased from 6 to 2. Echo now uses more of her fingers when shooting enemies. Tri-Shot now fires 2 additional projectiles and damage per projectile decreased from 17 to 12. Genji, spamming a voice line for healing finally does something after everyone else has tuned you out. Sometimes Genji heals himself when requesting healing. At long last, finally the buff Genji deserves. Hanzo. Hanzo spent many years mastering the bow and geometry to pull off this feat. It definitely has nothing to do with magic. Storm arrows ricochet toward the sonic arrow. Oh, that's actually an interesting little mechanic there. I don't dislike that. Seems fun. Junkrat. Junkrat was a bit careless when packing his grenades, so now they spill out of his pockets whenever he knocks himself back. Total Mayhem. Drop grenades when launching yourself with Concussion Mine. Mei. We noticed a decrease in Mei players helping their team group up in Spawn with Ice Wall. This is core to Mei's gameplay, so we added additional ice pillars to help facilitate it. Spawns more pillars and has slightly different configurations. Pharah. Rocket Jump. That sounds dangerous, but it is a viable means of travel when you can't afford enough fuel. Rocket Launcher. Rockets deal no self-damage and have increased knockback. Barrage. Pharah can be knocked back while Barrage is active. Barrage rockets now have self-knockback. Hover jets, fuel decreased by 33%. Reaper. After getting shot one too many times, Reaper no longer poses in places before teleporting, despite it looking very cool. Shadow Step movement is no longer locked after confirming a teleport location. Sojourn. Sojourn hasn't been performing quite up to our expectations after reducing her one-shot potential. To remedy this, we've added a very fair stun to her kit. Power Slide now impacts enemies dealing 75 damage, launching them upward and knocking them down for 1.5 seconds. Yep, she can just slide tackle people. Soldier 76. Why leave it on the ground when you can keep it in your pocket instead? Bionic Field now attached to Soldier 76 when activated. Sombra. As a safety measure, the translocator will forcibly separate solid objects that have been teleported into each other. Unfortunately, this process is also quite painful. Translocator now deals 120 damage in an area at the teleport destination, projectile speed increased from 25 to 40, and cooldown decreased from 10 seconds to 6. Symmetra. It turns out there was a setting on sentry turrets that let them immediately target enemies when thrown. Symmetra estimates this change increases their efficiency by 32.33% repeating, of course. Turrets can now target enemies while in flight, and turrets have 60% damage resistance before sticking to terrain. Lovely. Torbjorn. We noticed that Torbjorn relies a little too heavily on his turret to deal consistent damage, so you won't believe this one simple balance change that fixes that and makes him 1000% overpowered. Overload now also causes Rivet Gun and Forge Hammer to ignite enemies, dealing 30 additional damage over time. Tracer. Tracer now leaves a vacuum when she recalls into the past. We are pretty sure this is how time travel works and will be taking no questions. Recall pulls in nearby enemies when activated, and Pulse Bomb arming time increased from 1 second to 2 seconds. Widowmaker. Poisonous bullets don't work as quickly as normal ones do, but at least there's more room for counterplay. Widow's Kiss critical hits deal their damage over 3 seconds as poison, and Widowmaker can see poisoned enemies through walls. Moving on to the support heroes, Ana turns out whatever is in those syringes hurts a lot more when applied to the forehead. Bionic Rifle can now headshot enemies. Yes, the buff Ana has always needed. Baptiste. Rumor has it that Baptiste is the record holder for both high and long jump. Exo Boots. Jumping with Exo Boots has more horizontal distance, scaling with the charge amount. Hold jump after using Exo Boots to keep bouncing. Brigitte. Whip Shot now whips you. Works better if you say wee while flailing about. Whip Shot, Brigitte is pulled towards the flail head. Yep. Brigitte has a grappling hook. Kiriko. Kanazaka is a big town, and Kiriko has lots of protecting to do. This change should help her get to where she needs to go in a timely fashion, especially during rush hour. Swift Step. Range increased from 35 to 350 meters, and cooldown now scales with distance traveled. Lucio, we were alerted that Soundwave was able to knock back entire heroes, but couldn't do anything to projectiles. We've corrected this logical inconsistency. Soundwave now deflects projectiles, cooldown decreased from 4 to 3 seconds. Mercy. Our stats show that the Battle Mercy playstyle isn't as common as we hoped. Here's a small change that should nudge her damage potential in the right direction. Caduceus Blaster, ammo increased from 25 to 125, and projectile speed increased from 50 to 125. Moira, you know that random orb that killed you from across the map? That was 100% intentional. Biotic orbs follow Moira's every command, though they only understand stop and go. Biotic orb. Pressing the ability input while biotic orbs are active causes them to stop or start moving. And Zenyatta. Zenyatta calls this technique the flying kick, but since he's always floating, should it just be called kick? Snap Kick launches Zenyatta in his facing direction when used in the air. Alright, there you go everybody. These are all the brand new balance changes for the brand new, totally serious, limited time arcade game mode that, as far as I know, is probably only going to be here for a day or two, so I would recommend trying it out while you get the chance. I've already played a couple matches of it at the time of me recording this video, and it is it's quite something, I'll say that much. So definitely be sure to check it out, and in the meantime, let me know your thoughts on this totally not silly, totally not, relating to any real-world goofy holiday or anything balance patch that was released today for Overwatch 2 by dropping a comment down below. As always, be sure to subscribe, follow me on Twitter, hit up that bell icon, and come join my Discord server to hang out and never miss any of my future Overwatch content. Special thanks to my YouTube channel members who help make these videos possible, and if you'd like to join them to earn some cool rewards, then just hit that join button down below. Otherwise, this is Master Ian Gamer signing off, and until next time, have a great day.